Thanks for joining us for our Issues and Answers. I'm Ian Boyd. The government has a menu of things which it engages in to deal with the matter of security and crime control. And one of those areas is restorative justice. It's an important plank in the work of the Ministry of Justice. And today we have the coordinator of the Restorative Justice Unit of the Ministry of Justice, Kahilah Whyte, and she'll be telling us about the work that this unit is doing in communities all across Jamaica. A very vital work of helping people to resolve disputes and to come to amicable solutions. We thank you for your company. Good to have you, Mrs. Whyte, on the program. Tell us the essence of the restorative justice program of the Ministry of Justice.
Okay, restorative justice can be thought of as one of the arms of alternative dispute resolutions. It's another way of thinking about crime, where individuals are most interested in solving their conflicts in a successful manner, run by facilitators at centers throughout the island. We have 10 centers throughout the island.
Outside of the court system.
Outside of the court system.
It's a means of dealing with outside of the court system.
We reduce case backlog. That's one of the goals.
That's very important.
And then we really want to promote peace and have individuals change, have a cultural paradigm shift with resolving conflict in a peaceful manner. So
that's the essence.
That's the essence of restorative justice.
So there are about, 10 centers?
There are.
In communities like what do you?
We have communities in Augusttown. We just opened our latest centers, July 2017 of this year in West Kingston, Tivoli Gardens and Denhamtown. Restorative justice centers are our latest two.
Yes. So you work in a number of inner city communities?
Definitely. That's where the needs are. We've gone in those communities. We're in the West, we're in Montego Bay and Savlamar. We have communities, Tower Hill here in Kingston, Trenchtown, Spanish Town, Clarendon. And so we're excited about the work that's taken place.
Tell us more about the system. How does it work? Perhaps I'm in conflict with someone. I might be thinking of taking the person to court and so on. And then I decide to come and see you.
Yes.
And you would have mediators, you would have people to help me work through my dispute?
Right. Well, we call them facilitators. They're facilitators, and the biggest difference between restorative justice and, say, mediation is that we are focused on repairing the community. So you'll find at our conferences, community members can be involved in the process. We've done 82 conferences from January to July of this year throughout the islands.
Conferences. What do you call a conference?
Conferences are you and I are talking, and you would have support, I would have a support, and then some other.
So both of us
were
in dispute.
We're in dispute.
So I would have my
support.
You would have your support.
So would I. And then we'd have community representatives as a means of balancing.
Like what? Perhaps a JP?
Perhaps a JP. It could be
community leader or pastor.
Exactly. School administrator. So we have individuals that really want to serve Jamaica, really want to promote peace. We're having a rallying cry. Join us. Become a restorative justice facilitator. You can pick up a form to be a restorative justice facilitator or volunteer either at the Ministry of Justice or at any of our centers island-wide or even online.
I see. One can volunteer to be a facilitator. You can
volunteer and go through the training process because it's a training process whereby you would go and hear from other individuals and be walked through the process of ensuring that the conference would run smoothly, how to deal with different types of individuals, communication skills, diversity, conflict resolution. You would learn all of that. So.
Do you undertake educational campaigns or programs in terms of speaking to community groups, speaking to schools?
Yes, definitely. And if you're interested in having us speak at your church or community organization, call us at the ministry, 908-5527. You can call us.
So you're available. You
We're
come and
available.
talk to church groups.
And it's free.
And it's free.
I must underline that it's free. We want individuals to know that they can have justice any time of the day that they'd like. Call us, give us some notice, and we will come and meet you where your needs are.
And you will also teach us about conflict management principles.
Most definitely, most definitely.
Conflict management techniques.
And we've done this in corporate sectors. We've had conferences. If you're having disputes at your workplace, you can call us and we'll do conferences. So, we're excited about what's taking place in justice. We just opened up our first justice center in St. Anne. So we're really excited. That's going to have restorative justice, child diversion, and we're going to offer other services that you would find at Ministry of Justice. You're going to be able to access information about human trafficking and legal aid. So we're really excited about what's going on.
Yes. So a great deal is happening in terms of restorative justice. Not only are there facilities for people to manage actual disputes, but there's a lot of dissemination of information telling people what they can do to prevent disputes. And many of these disputes end in deaths. So the high crime rate is related to our inability to deal with disputes. The coordinator of the Restorative Justice Unit of the Ministry of Justice, Kahilah Whyte, is our guest on Issues and Answers. We take a break.
Every time there's a strong breeze, me yard full up a leaf. End of my nightmare.
She can't chop down the guava tree and get away with it. It's a bearing fruit tree. Is that right? Me and I will have it out in here today.
Lord Jesus.
Who?
No, stop. John wants you, man. What? John, look here. At least hear what she have to say first, no? Hear what she have to say. No, but about the war situation, man. Listen, we can go down to the Restorative Justice Center, you know, man, and sort this thing out. You don't want to set up yourself for jail? Come on, let's sort out this thing. Once and for all.
Restore the peace, restore the love, restore the niceness. Restorative justice. Respect each other.
A program of the Ministry of Justice funded through CSJP.
Welcome back. Kahilah Whyte is the coordinator of the Restorative Justice Unit of the Ministry of Justice, and we're talking about the Restorative Justice program. Is this program working in Jamaica where culturally we have not done well at conflict resolution? We are not a generally consensus building culture. What has been your experience in the communities?
Emphatically, yes. Resoundingly, yes. It's working in Jamaica. I can't tell you how many
receptive to it?
people are not only receptive, they've bought in. Just this past year from January, we've had 82 conferences island-wide with 684 individuals that were a part of the process of coming to an agreement. Out of the 82 conferences, we had 78 agreements come out of this where individuals agreed that, you know what, we had a conflict, we're going to resolve it, here's what we both like to take from this. People are willing to change if they're explained to that the process is free, this can lessen the stress in your life, and it's another way to reduce the huge backlog that we're having in the court system. I look at communities like Augusttown where there's such a decrease in the violence and we're seeing more of camaraderie, we're seeing more peace. And I see our own center, Restorative Justice, continuing to help hold up the mantle of spreading this peace throughout the island. And people are hungry for that. People want change. People are screaming for justice, but they're doing more than that. They're coming in and calling and saying, we want to be a part of this emails. I have WhatsApp messages.
Yes.
I'm excited to
People are coming to you.
People
you
are
don't
coming.
have to be trying to interest them.
People are coming to us and saying, come to our church, come to our office space. We're having a conflict. So I'm seeing a cultural shift in terms of how people are thinking about resolving their issues. Even children, when we go into the schools and we talk about, I did a role play earlier today at Norm Manley High School. And the children want to learn how to resolve these issues in a peaceful manner. They don't have to pick up the machete. They don't have to pick up knife or bottle or threaten each other. They can listen to each other's stories and say, okay, I'm hearing how this impacted you. I'm hearing how you felt. how can we move forward from this? What would you like me to do?
And you have spouses who come in also?
Yes, of course. We have spouses that come in. We have neighbors that come in
Neighbors
and
come
settle.
in with-
So it's been a wonderful experience to see and be a part of.
Yes. And you're a licensed family and marriage therapist?
Yes, I am.
So you have experience
Yes.
in resolving
Yes.
conflicts. And a lot of our disputes are domestic
Yes.
disputes. That's a source of a number of
Yes.
murders. So we do need help in that particular area. How would you situate the importance of restorative justice and the government's restorative justice program in the whole effort at containing crime and just building a more peaceful society?
I think the great thing is we have a minister, Minister Delroy Chuck, and the permanent secretary, Mrs. Carol Palmer.
They're committed to
They're
this program.
committed to this program. I mean, the rallying cry is being heard. And what's happening is we've started taking up this baton to say, we will not sit down and see things happen. So it's a matter of going into the schools, going into the churches, getting our justices of the peace to come on board with us, become facilitators, and help us teach each other how to manage these situations better. If I can't handle it at home, let me go to some professionals that are trained to sit down, talk to individuals in a peaceful and a loving manner. And the heart of restorative justice is about grace and forgiveness, something most Jamaicans would be able to identify with.
Yes.
So
Because
it works.
that's very much a part of our Christian culture.
Of course.
And Christian
Of course.
socialization. And in restorative justice, you also aim toward reconciliation.
Yes,
It's not just a
yes.
matter of dealing with the justice of the situation, but you want to move into reconciliation, improvement in the relationship.
Most definitely. And we see even at the end of our conferences, we encourage individuals to break bread with one another. So we actually have refreshments set up for conference participants whereby they can actually, the person that offended them, you see these individuals loving each other and talking with one another and really trying to hear and now understand, because they've become like sistren and brethren.
Yes.
They've become a part of the process of healing.
But Mrs. Whyte, you also ensure that those who have done harm acknowledge that harm.
They must acknowledge
and,
that's
and
the
don't
key.
make light of
No.
the harm, but to confess and to acknowledge the hurt that has been done.
Of course, that's one of the first things. In the pre-meetings, they have to acknowledge, I'm taking accountability. I am the offender.
Yes.
This is what I've done. Hear my story. And then when they get into the conference with the victim, for the victim to then hear,
That's right.
this is where the person was coming from. It doesn't take away from the fact that they've been wronged. What it does is add clarity to that moment in which they were wrong. And now we can move forward and come up with a plan to heal, forgive, in love and grace.
Interesting. Kahilah Whyte is the coordinator of the Restorative Justice Unit of the Ministry of Justice. The government is doing a number of things. Yes, there's the zones of special operations. That's only one of the initiatives of government. This work of restorative justice is another crucial aspect of the government's crime fighting, crime containment plan. Next week I'll be back with more information for you. Until then, Ian Boyd wishing you a pleasant day.